Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Zach. Today we're doing another ECOMI OMI VeVe video. Currently the price is 6867 on a low of 6621 and a high of 7071 over the past 24 hours. Now, in this video, we're going to talk about GaryVee and Dan. Speaking about VeVe, Dan had Gary on his podcast. Make sure, of course, subscribe to Gary if you haven't already. But this was an interesting one to say the least. I think we've all been hoping and waiting to see Gary's explicit thoughts on VeVe to be, publicized, for Gary to talk about it, because Gary is one of the main KOLs in, which is key opinion leader in this emerging market, and so people want to know, okay, what's this dude think about it? And myself included. Gary is, and some of you won't like him, some of you will. I don't care either way, whether you do or don't like him. Personally, I have enjoyed and learned a lot from Gary over the past roughly 4 years from now, from the time that I left my job at the BBC up until now, when I'm roughly like 4 years into being self-employed. 4 years? 5 years? 4 years, I think. Coming up to 5 soon. So I'm excited to go over this with you. I think the ECOMI community got really butthurt, I'll be real, and I'll use that word. Some people really took this. Gary wasn't as excited about VeVe as I think people were expecting Gary to, really go hard. I love VeVe, all that sort of stuff. And that's not what he did. But let's go through it. I'm going to give you my take on this. And I'll be real, I was a bit disappointed, but we'll go through it.
So you've said that 98% of NFT projects will go to zero and called for an NFT winter. What do you think will be the 2% that appreciate long-term in value?
I'm not sure. I'm incredibly positive. My big bet is CryptoPunks. Just give it.
Okay, so before we go further, the first, in this entire statement, the first 3 or 2 words, 3 or 4 words, depending on how you see it grammatically, is I'm not sure. He's not saying exactly this, that, and the other. No, it's I'm not sure. Now, if you watch Gary's video, maybe a few days ago, his team posted him being at NFT NYC. And he was asked a similar question. Which NFT projects are going to do well? I think he was asked in the next year, and then the next 5 years in perpetuity, etc. And he said, well, I couldn't tell you that Amazon was going to basically own e-commerce. He can only tell what's going to happen just before it happens, because that's how you do this stuff. You look at the information and you make an educated guess based on that.
And the nature of its status of establishment.
What about like IP, like VeVe with NFTs and like Disney NFTs with like Marvel and Star Wars?
The problem is, I come from a collecting background, so I'm too smart.
Me too.
This. Good, so you know this. Good, so you know this. Not even close to every Spider-Man has value.
What about the first ever Spider-Man NFT?
Of course. The question becomes, though, which one, right? VeVe, like, versus on-chain versus what if Solana wins the day in 12 years? Then it's gonna be the first Solana Spider-Man, not the first ETH, right? So we're too early. See where I'm going?
Yeah.
There's a lot to think through. You could bridge over to different chains. There's a lot to think through. What is actually an NFT versus a digital asset? VeVe closed environment, decentralized.
It's switching.
So, what he's bringing up here, actually, this is what I'm really thinking about it. I think of it harder, because I watched this clip about an hour ago, but I had to do something else straight afterwards. No one can ever say that Gary was shilling OMI. No one can say that Gary is shilling OMI when I would assume, and this is not inevitable, because, I'm not saying I know the future, but I would guess that he's going to be a very big fan of VeVe, and I'll explain why a bit later in this video. But, he's talking about it, being potentially Solana will be more valuable, etc. And so I don't see a lot of bias towards VeVe, which is a really good thing. I'll explain why.
away from being a closed environment, though. It's going to be
the question. Yeah, I know that.
And the fact is that, you know, he's talking about a closed environment. So he has done some homework on this. Some.
The question will become, will the market accept it as the first, or was it the first that minted on mainnet because they didn't got it? Because now it won't be the first that's minted. So there's all of it's awesome. Like, I actually have no idea.
At a minimum,
Now, personally, when it comes down to the different blockchains, I personally, and I could be wrong, and I would actually love to hear your take on this. I'm not saying I'm right with any of this. I genuinely don't know. Hold on, let me just make myself a bit brighter. There we go. I don't know if you can use that as a argument as far as, will the first Spider-Man mint on Solana be more important than on ETH? It depends. I feel, because all of this is, and I'm not talking blockchain here, I'm talking markets and consumers, which is what Gary's real forte is, right? And I've learned a lot from him there. So like everything I'm saying, I do love what Gary puts out, but I don't know if people will care. Now, maybe the hardcore investors will be like, well, no, actually, you know, this chain matters, or, you know, it matters because it was on this chain, right? But I feel like the majority of IP enthusiasts, not crypto enthusiasts who care about the tech behind it, I think the majority of IP enthusiasts will care about what was first. Now, obviously, Spider-Man, by the time, and all the other collectibles on VeVe, by the time this goes over to Immutable, I would imagine that it will still be the first Spider-Man licensed and etc. IP licensed NFTs on ETH, right? But does that even matter to most collectors? I mean, collectors are nerdy for sure. I'm saying that with love, not, you know, anything bad about being a nerd. They're nerdy, but what are they nerdy about? Where does the value come from here? Does it come from the technology that it's on, or does it come from what it actually is in the first place? Which again, Spider-Man, etc., all the Marvel things, like, they're all first-time appearances of licensed digital licensed collectibles. So I'm not sure if, you know, even if Solana does end up, you know, 5 years from now, if Ethereum is totally out of use and Solana is the number one, and then 10 years from now, you know, if Solana is still the number one, or if we see Polkadot or whatever, it'll be interesting, but I don't know how that will necessarily affect the brand equity of each of these NFTs. Let me know if I'm being stupid. Please do. I'm sure. Well, people let me know every time if they think I'm being stupid. So
you're having fun and you're learning about this space. You don't know, but you're willing to, you know, see what's going to work, and especially for your business, because NFTs is wrapped around a lot of what you're doing.
I also like the fact that the results are going to be the results. I don't know. I have hunches. I will spend my money and put my reputation on the line against those hunches. And I have the humility and the confidence to navigate that, because I realize that if I am wrong, it's incredibly, you know this, I enjoy talking about passing on Uber twice.
Well, because it's an example. It's a great example of, hey, you're not always going to be right.
Yeah, it's also the truth, right? Like, fuck, like, you know, so if CryptoPunks disappears in its relevance, like, and becomes Friendster, right? Then I'm like, okay, I was wrong. I shouldn't have bought that. And that will be just as good learning content for my audience as if I was right. And I think too many people are attached to success. I'm either attached or detached from both success and failure.
Now, this is really important because a lot of the VeVe community, actually, let's just let it play for another 10 seconds.
I'm obsessed of the oxygen of the process, right? You know this. You and I grew up in the revolution of social media, personal brand moments of that too, right?
That's how we broke out, for sure.
That's how we broke out.
Yeah.
You are very aware because you were actually there. You're not reading it in my Wikipedia. You are aware that when I hit the scene, there was 500 other people that in theory looked like me, right?
But when you did Wine Library TV, I had no interest in wine, Gary, but I still watched the show. To me,
And to your-
that's
and
how
to-
I knew you were going to be successful.
I think that's fair. You said to yourself, because you're thoughtful about psychology, that, okay, wait a minute, this dude may be different because I'm not interested in his subject matter, but he's compelling enough for my interest.
You could have talked about anything.
Right.
Okay, so that was something I wasn't aware of, actually. That's kind of cool. So Dan, I didn't know. It sounds like Dan and Gary go back a little bit that I wasn't aware of. Because I haven't watched the entire thing. At some point, I will probably watch the entire thing. But just for the purpose of this, because I've got so many videos to make these days, it's ridiculous. I want to go over the fact that Gary did not say VeVe is one of the projects that's going to go to zero, right? He basically said, I don't know. A fairly underrated opinion, to be quite honest with you. Now, again, not only did he say, I don't know, but he basically said, I don't know, as the guy who he is, right? Which is Gary Vaynerchuk, Mr. GaryVee, Mr. CEO of VaynerMedia, doing digital marketing for Fortune 500 companies, doing, you know, these different 10-figure exits, etc., right? Looking at Etsy, etc. Now, he could have said, well, this is what's going to happen, and basically saved face. But instead, I'm like, no, I don't know. Like, this is what we're seeing. This is what it looks like. But something very important, and we're going to have a look at this right now, is he tweeted, I should have got this tweet ready but before I started that YouTube video, but he tweeted out talking about his, or clarifying, shall I say, his take on VeVe, which I'm going to bring up right now. Here we go.
Yo, what's good, everybody? Just making this quick video because I saw my interview with Dan. Dan, thanks for the interview. Just commentary on VeVe, like, just so there's no confusion. A, I'm cheering for fucking VeVe like crazy. B, I don't love talking about things in general when I'm not 100% sure or haven't done the homework. I haven't gone hardcore on VeVe enough yet to really know what I think. You know, I'm seeing the headlines, you know, like through my stream, like now on Immutable, I love layer 2s, but like, let there be no confusion. I don't have, even in my small investments compared to my career in Recur or Candy, like, I'm fucking cheering for everybody. I don't think, the biggest issue right now in the space is people think that this is an or game with the amount of meaningful IP in the world. VeVe, Solana, ETH, Candy, Recur, Dapper. The world is abundant. Like, everybody can win. It's going to come down to execution. Who executes and who doesn't. And, you know, for me, when I'm putting my name on, like, this is going to work, like, I feel comfortable about CryptoPunks. But, like I said the other day, like, I'm just learning. Like, I don't know if Wolf Game's going to win or not, but there's enough there on the game mechanics. I'm like, let me check out if this could become the Axie Farmville of ETH. I don't know if the first Spider-Man of VeVe works, but like, I will absolutely look into that. You just can't get to everything all the time. People are airdropping me projects. I'm getting 1,000 DMs. I'm running a massive company. So for the VeVe community, just want you to know, like, I got fucking love for your red circles. I just don't have enough information. I'm not good enough yet because I haven't dug and clicked and looked into it. I had my VeVe meetings early. I just haven't gotten quote unquote around to it, but fucking, I think everybody can win.
Okay. So, again, would we prefer this dude who hasn't looked into it hard enough yet to know to just say, yeah, no, I love this, of course? Or would you prefer him to give his actual honest opinion on it right now? He'll do his homework on it. I am surprised that he hasn't done more homework on VeVe, especially because he's an investor in Recur. That is something that has definitely surprised me. But I mean, to be fair, most of the VeVe's community response is pretty good. So like here, right here, okay, but like if you don't do your homework, why do you ignore it for far less of projects that have 90% failure rate? Why ignore the biggest winner all year? I'm trying to understand why someone like you would choose to ignore it. I do like that. That's one thing I would just like to know. I would like to understand more about why Gary isn't aware, because it seems like something that would be very much in his ballpark to be aware of. But then we have people like this person Who do you listen to? A guy who drew a bunch of pictures in a rush on a piece of paper, or a team of VeVe seasoned professionals who don't have a license? So this is the dumbest tweet, and the fact that people are liking this is, I mean, I guess it's tribalism. It's stupid though. This was really stupid, like really stupid, and you know, because but by this logic, the VeVe NFTs are just stupid, stupid 3D collectibles of just some, you know, random cartoons, some random comics, nothing really that big. Because, you know, because Gary has no track record of, you know, building something, you know, turning IPs into something much larger, and, you know, working with Fortune 500 companies to continue their relevancy within the global economy. No, Gary has no experience in any of that. This is the dumbest thing possible, especially considering that Gary didn't actually say anything bad about VeVe. Like, we gotta chill out, fam. Like, this is so stupid. Like, if anything, VeFriends is not just about a picture, and the fact that they said this means that they have no, either it's an emotional response to Gary not going in love with this project with VeVe, or they genuinely don't understand what NFTs is actually about. That's my only thinking. Because in case you're not aware, in case you didn't get the memo, the VeFriends NFTs are essentially Gary's own version of building the IP for different characters that he is most aligned with, the characters that he finds the most value in. So I don't know all of them, but I know for sure that that's Patient Panda. And so he's going to build these IPs, my guess is through merchandise, through storytelling, through animation and cartoon. I do believe we'll see a VeFriends cartoon at some point that will probably end up being on probably YouTube and, you know, cable TV maybe, if they get the right animations going. It could be literally one of the biggest cartoons of you know, in a few generations time. And, you know, there'll be many NFTs, etc. Available around this. And of course, VeFriends, just as an add-on, which is a huge add-on, gives you, I think, what's it, 3-year pass towards VCon. So, you know, there's utility behind it. There's also essentially the case of actually being able to invest in GaryVee's IP. So this was a very stupid tweet, but that's okay. There's no actual hate. I have no dislike or hate towards this person. I just find this tweet ridiculously dumb. But yeah, like I say, I want to know what Gary's opinions are on this once he's done more homework on it. And yeah, it'll be interesting to see. What are your thoughts though? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear your take on this. I think that'll do me for now, because this is like a 20-minute video at this point, so I'm going to catch you all later. Thank you everyone for watching. Please make sure to hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. If this video was interesting and helpful to you in any way, shape or form, a like is always much appreciated. And if you would like to be kept happening in this topic every single day, not on today, this is my channel. I cover everything on every single day, so if you want to be on the happening, hit that subscribe button and keep notifications on. Have a great day everyone. I'll see you in the next VeVe video.